Of a free ticket. Chris Guy joins us now. That's what this is about, escalation.
100%. And what did I say? I said that 2 days ago. And if you look at the headlines from today, Iran is saying literally word for word what I just said on that video, that they can't stand by and watch other Muslims suffer at the hands of Israel. And I also mentioned that Israel is trying to do this to create greater Israel. Well, in order to create greater Israel, they need to take over parts of Egypt, parts of Lebanon, parts of Syria, parts of Jordan. And wouldn't you know it, Israel just bombed Lebanon, Israel just bombed Syria. But of course, if you watch American media, these are all retaliatory strikes because the ethnic cleansing and the displacement of millions of people in Gaza and war crimes every single day aren't enough. So now, because they know they got America behind them, and by the way, Joe Biden is going to prepare what they're going to call an aid package, which is going to be money and weapons. And mark my words, not only are they going to send it to Israel, they're going to use the fact that Americans will do anything for Israel, and they're going to tie this package to give money to Israel and Ukraine. Remember I said that. Remember I said that Joe Biden is going to use the fact that they know that you will do anything for Israel to not only give Israel money and weapons, but they're going to do another round of aid for Ukraine. And this time it's not going to be like Ukraine. Americans aren't just going to be spending taxpayer dollars. If you get drawn into this war, you're going to be fighting on the ground against Iran and Syria and possibly Russia and eventually China. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If the United States and the European Union get into a war for Israel against Russia, Iran, China, and Syria, you're going to lose. And Israel's going to love that because Israel is not your friend. Israel does not like the United States. I just posted a video today of the current Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, on video when he was unaware that he was being recorded. And he says unequivocally, he makes fun of the fact that Americans are stupid and easy to manipulate. And his exact words were, I don't worry about America. America can be moved in the right direction. And they do it to Americans every single time. How many war crimes has Israel been charged with in the UN since 1970? Answer, 52 times. Virtually every single year, Israel does something so atrocious and so horrific that virtually every single country of the UN votes to prosecute Israel for war crimes. And then what happens? The US comes in with their big superpower and vetoes it. So 100 countries around the world, representing billions of people, can say, Israel has committed war crimes. And the United States just comes in and signs off and says, no, it's okay. Let them go. Let them do it. And Israel does not care about you, America. When I was at the Reawakening in America tour, I had to sit through a prayer for Israel in the name of Jesus Christ. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? Go ask the average Israeli what they think of Jesus. I don't know if you guys realize this, but Jesus was crucified and killed by the Jewish people. They don't see him as a Messiah. They see him as a false prophet. It's like me saying a prayer for you, Stu, in the name of Osama bin Laden. Would you be welcome to it, or would you be offended? The Israelis do not care about America. The Israelis do not care about anyone. Not only do they have the 52 war crimes, they have something called the Samson option. Have you heard of that? I'm sure you have, but your viewers might have not. The Samson option is where Israel has declared that they have placed nuclear weapons in virtually every country's embassy around the world. So if the USA does not go to war for Israel, or the USA doesn't stand up and protect Israel, people try to invade Israel, Israel has literally held the world hostage and said that they will detonate suitcase nukes in virtually every country around the world simultaneously, basically destroying the world with them. Imagine any other country said something like that on the world stage. Imagine China said, ha, 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 we have planted nuclear weapons in every country around the world, and if you invade us, we're going to set them off. The entire world would be against China. It would be the biggest topic in the world. But Israel does it, and not only does Israel do it, at the same time, Israel pretends like they don't even have nuclear weapons. So we have this situation where Israel is considered exceptional in the world. and they can do whatever they want. They can commit war crimes whenever they want. They can take much money as they want. They can kill as many people as they want. They can take as much land as they want. And if you do not go to war for Israel, and if you do not submit to Israel, and if you do not submit and pretend that they are your superiors, now you're a racist. That is the best marketing campaign in the history of mankind. You either be my slave, do what I say, and give me unequivocal support in money, media, and warm bodies to die, or you're a racist.
Okay, so
That
obviously these viewpoints that you're saying are in direct alignment with everything that this platform agrees with. I mean, we've been saying these things for a very long time, pointing out the obvious. We expect attacks from people like Media Matters. We expect attacks from the ADL and the Daily Beast, you know, and the Rolling Stone and the New York Times and Newsweek. But I didn't see it coming that a supposed America First event like the Reawaken America tour at the Trump Hotel in Miami would have somebody whose viewpoints are in alignment with that truth banned and exiled from an event like that. So what happened? What was the explanation? Who made that decision?
Well, all I can tell you is on the third day, I was told, and the first day was just a pastor-only event, and I got invited to it because I was there with Pastor Felix from Saving a Child. And on the second day, I was there as part of media and a VIP guest, and I just did interview after interview. And they approached me on the second day and said, a whole bunch of our speakers didn't show up. So we might want you to speak tomorrow if you don't mind. And I said, sure, I would love to speak tomorrow. And I had no intention of speaking about Israel in the first place. It was not even in the back of my mind. And then when I went there on the third day, I went to the speakers area to talk to Aaron, the stage manager. He saw me. He expected me. He ran over to me, shook my hand enthusiastically, and said, I'll be right with you. Then I looked at the time, and I had to do a podcast at 11. So I ran back to the media area to do my podcast for Saving a Child with Felix. And as soon as I finished, I had these guys come up to me that looked like Secret Service because they definitely weren't normal security guards. They clearly were ex-military. They clearly looked like people that have killed a lot of people for a living, and they didn't have the normal bravado of a stupid security guard. They were very professional, but you could tell they meant business. And they came over all serious and said, sir, are you Chris Sky? And I said, yes. They said, well, you're going to have to come with us. I go, excuse me? Come with you where? Like, you're going to have to be escorted off the property. I said, for what? They said, you're being trespassed. I go, trespassed? First of all, I have a ticket and a paid event. Second of all, I have a media pass. So how can I be trespassed? They said it's reference to a social media post. And they opened up their phone and they showed me the post for the video that you just played. That's all I know. That's exactly what they were talking about. So I said, fine. And I walked outside with them. And when I got outside, there was an army of police officers waiting there for me to try to intimidate me. And they had a picture of my social media post. So at that point, I started recording. And when I started recording, they got really upset. They tried to lie and pretend like they weren't there for me. So then I said, if you're not there for me, let me leave. And they said, absolutely not. You're being detained. So they contradicted themselves. And then when I asked why I was being detained, they told me if I didn't stop, they were going to arrest me for just causing a disturbance when I was simply trying to leave and I was already outside of the building. When I asked the police officer what I did to constitute a disturbance, he said, shut up, you're a bullshit artist. So basically what they were letting me know is they didn't like what I wrote on social media, so they were going to try to intimidate me and shut me up because you have freedom of speech in America until you speak about Israel, and then they're going to try to shut you up. And I don't have anything against the Israeli people, because I'll tell you right now, if Benjamin Netanyahu got a deal made where they said, hey, we can kill all of Iran and all of the United States, but you'll have to sacrifice 5.5 million Israelis. He would take that deal in a heartbeat, and he wouldn't even lose a second of sleep. So the Israelis are being used as pawns, just like the Palestinians are being used as cannon fodder. And the whole idea here is to draw America into a large war. I don't know how many of you need to hear this, but Israel was created in 1947 by something called the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration was written by some people called the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds have been the financiers behind virtually both sides of every major war. They are also the financiers of the British monarchy. Yes, the same British monarchy that you Americans had to fight the American Revolution for your independence for. And you think they just forgot? And you think they just let it go? And you think they just wanted you to have your freedom and make all this money? No. They took control of your country, And that's why politicians and Trump needs to stand up and say something about this, because Trump is supposed to be about America first. You can't be Israel first and America first. You have to choose one or the other. And we have all these dual citizens inside the United States, dual citizen Israelis. Those people cannot be serving two masters. And we have this declaration, and nobody knows this. If you want to be a congressman, a senator, any part of the U.S. government, before you are allowed to take office, AIPAC, American Israeli Public Action Committee, the most well-funded and most powerful political lobby in all of the United States, literally makes every member of the U.S. government sign a pledge that they will put Israel's interests before the United States. This is a fact, period. So when you have this little country that's run by bankers, created by bankers, the same bankers that have put virtually every country around the world into debt, and then the same bankers that make America invade all the countries in the region that don't have a Rothschild central bank, Libya, Iraq, Syria, these are all target countries by the Rothschilds who control Israel and also control America. Why? Because if they don't have a Rothschild central bank to loan you your own money at interest, then they cannot put your country into debt and take completely control of your government, your industries, your war machine, and everything else. So if you do not go along with the Rothschild bursary program, they get America to invade your country and blow it up to the point where you need to take a loan from them to rebuild it.
Wow.
And that has been the formula over and over and over again. And it is not an accident that the only two countries left in the Middle East without a Rothschild central bank are Syria and Iran. And those are the ones that everybody wants the U.S. to invade next.
Wow. Absolutely spot on. 100% of the time, you've been spot on from the very beginning. From COVID-19 to what we're seeing now. This is why we're excited to have you. A very close personal friend of mine, by the way, a friend of this program, a friend of this network, and I cannot wait to see you again in person. Vero Beach, October 28th. Make sure that you get your tickets to come and see us. It's the Stu Peters Fall Fest. Just go to stupeters.com/fall-fest. to get your free tickets right now. Chris Sky, thank you so much for being here. The guy's absolutely amazing, totally on point. He completely understands it. October 28th, you can see him alongside of me. Can't wait to put my hands around that guy's neck and give him a hug. October 28th, Vero Beach, Florida. Be there. Make sure to hear more from him and a whole bunch of others as we have this Fall Fest. We'll be right back.